All right, well, we're good to go on the migration, at least on the chat side. I'll show you a couple things here. I was able to kind of even work in some stuff so we didn't have to make too many changes. And again, this is kind of a work in progress. Majority of the stuff is done, but I'll kind of show you how it works. A couple things you should notice if you go to assistants now, you should see some icons that may be pretty interesting to you. So now Claude is in there as a beta. I tested a few things. Claude almost requires a different style of prompting, so I'm just going to label it as beta, and you use it at your own risk because it does have like a different cadence in the way that it responds and everything. It's good, but it's more. I would probably use it on the support and success side because it is really good. Like like conversationally at extracting information, but it is very long-winded. And so I probably wouldn't put that in a sales scenario, but the OpenAI one's really, really good for sales. So there you go, and you'll notice that all that'll change. And again, labeledness is beta, so if you have a problem, it's in beta, don't do it. Also, you'll see your estimated latency up here on both chat and voice, depending on your settings here. So if I go in here and I add a 15-second wait time or 5-second wait time, whatever it may be, you'll start to see that stuff change up there. I'm going to do 0Q, and then of course you have voice lab, chat lab, knowledge lab, and then a couple more things coming for you right there. Okay, so let's take a look here at the new chat infrastructure. So I have the Eternal Flame on there right now, and I think I have that one on Claude. And you can to show you the difference in like Claude. Like it's long-winded and kind of goofy. It's fun, but we'll play around with it. So I'm going to take this back to OpenAI. I have zero response time on there. And so you can see, so if I run like now a context action, for an example, let's run a context action. I run that. All right, before it took a little bit, but even now, getting back to the user, whatever it may be, it gets there pretty quick. So there you go. So really, really quick now on chat responses. So if I go here and I say, thanks so much. You can notice that in the portal, much faster, even here in the UX UI, but also just as the function running and conversationally, it gets there almost faster than we can show you it in a portal. I do have some synthetic delays on it for right now, so there is like a 5-second delay or 6-second delay or something like that, but it is almost instant when we turn that delay off. The only thing that I want to get kind of configured in there is we have to check for the active tag. Sometimes active tag is added later, so we have to deal with a little delay. That's fine. But all good there, and didn't really change much as far as UX UI goes. Now we're able to kind of synthetically come in here and like if I do it here, and this is kind of what's being tested and what'll be expanded upon in the future, is we are able to go back and like reformat these as AI responses. Now sometimes it doesn't catch. Just have to get the timing right on some of it, but like you can see right there, reformatted as an AI response, so you're good to go on there. And still playing around with some of these configurations just to make sure they are where they need to be. Okay, so what else are we thinking? That should be good. Context action, sending in here, good to go. If I remove Haley right here and I remove this, all this works just as it should. And it's kind of done, between two different sources. So the only thing that I can think will probably not work for like a couple hours is like the stop on user response, because as you can tell, GHL doesn't really tell us, much about so it's both app source. And so not very fun to do. We can do like workflow source and stuff, but like when it comes to sending, it's a little bit different. So we'll work on something with that for right now. But this is all good to go, good to play with. And again, latency even now, like I'll show you how quick it can be. Okay, so if I go here and say, yes, it sure is, we can see how fast everything is getting in here, already in the portal before I can even switch tabs. And then response comes in really shortly after. So it makes live chat very robust, very lively. And queuing is really, really good. Even at the 0Q, we kind of have we kind of engineered this really, really fun inbox system, or you can almost call it like post office system where it kind of like sends in a queue, and then the queue is just written over with new responses. So zero queue, and let's see, I'm on like absolute zero and everything. Thanks. So what's up? And so that'll come in, and depending on how fast everything goes on here, and again, it may probably be better with something like with a little bit more queuing. It tends to be pretty good. And then you can see even some tool calls here happening. These are added after the fact. So because this is done somewhere else and then brought into this platform, or at least what you see here, it'll be added after the fact. So let's try something like here. So what times are you available? And so I'll just kind of show you the things happening here. Going to respond, comes back with a response. And by the way, there's a lot of error handling on this one. And if you even haven't noticed with, the whole idea of having Claude on here too, and you can kind of watch this happen. Having Claude on here too, that we have a lot more fallbacks. We're not only filtering and cleansing things like tool calls and messages, but we're also cleansing vendors now too. So OpenAI goes down, we switch to Claude. We actually have a Grok that we're not going to do, user facing because the rate limits on it are a little lower. But it's like if all else fails, the world is ending. We'll go to Grok, and you can see how everything was added after the fact there, and then you can see the full, even the prompt injection now when it comes to there. And so very, very good, very, very fun. And logs, you still have a couple in here that you can go off of with Eternal Flame. Let's go either works. I don't remember what calendar I have on this one. And then you can kind of see the conversation still happening in here. Adding tags and everything is lightning fast. AI chat appointment booked, by the way, is added on a AI chat appointment booked. And then same thing with voice. Whenever there's an appointment booked, we add that tag. Let's do 9 a.m. is fine. And so kind of torture tested everything, extractions and all, and it all looks pretty good. Now, probably, how it always goes, I can test this all day and, until someone gets out there and breaks it. But that tends to work pretty well on the way that we have it set up and the new API wrapper on it too. And so there's a new schema to go along with it. Now, the old one still works. So I was able to kind of inject old parameters in there and making sure all that's good. And then you see even the responses here are a lot faster, a lot smoother, and a lot stronger. And again, tools are added after the fact here. So you can kind of see these things happening there. Cool. Same thing with Claude. So I'm on Eternal Flame now. If I go to Eternal Flame and switch over to Claude, and you can kind of see the difference in responses. Thank you. And Claude's pretty quick, but it's just very long-winded. It's not bad, but it's a lot more long-winded. So we'll have to test now. And again, tool calling is like verified and everything on it, but it also just takes a little bit more instruction around tool calling, it seems, with some of this stuff. So really nothing you need to worry about. It's already done. It's in there now, tested and good to go. And so context action, internal context action here, this message, and then the whole chat infrastructure now is, on the dedicated GCP. And so even if the front end goes down, we won't. And so should be good to go on a lot of stuff there. Hopefully it's exciting. I know it's exciting for me because, I could finally rest a little bit, and then we'll get voice on there tonight, tomorrow morning. And then we'll start to slowly move more and more processes over there as we go through and, just kind of restructure things for this new, faster environment. So there you go. There's your new Claude, your latency stuff. There's a couple other things. I'll just let you find them yourself. And then tested the infrastructure there. Logs, again, you can still see processing and message sending. So you can go off of those two things for all of your stuff, and you should be good. Context action is good, but I'm still going to monitor that one because we may have to change the endpoint. So without getting too techy. And then if you haven't already, head over to your workspace and check out some of the cool partners we have here. Face belongs on this, or it should belong on this. Let me know. I'm going to open source this, kind of like how the marketplace is, like this, eventually in the future, but I'll throw you on there if needed. And if you haven't played with the marketplace, go ahead. The idea of this is, those who have businesses around this or want to just exchange ideas or whatever, this is what this is here for. And so it's almost like a Gumroad time listing, where you're able to configure everything, attach assistants, include attachments, like files and stuff. I'll show you an example of that. And then you just put your stuff in here, and then you purchase things. It's all free right now while it's in beta, so no one can charge for anything, but in the future, you'll be able to charge for it. For example, this is Braden's really, really fun stuff. And then you just create your listing. You can kind of see the configuration here, where you can go through like a tip-tap board here, like a Notion, right? And you can format it really, really nice. Attach your assistant with an assistant ID, upload some files, and then whenever anyone purchases this, they'll get a branded email. Hold on. Oh, very, very nice. And it comes from botmarketplace.io, which is going to be the gray label, white label for this. Now, you resold clients won't be able to see this. Sorry. Too many unknowns with that. So you have to just take the word for it. But direct users, you now have access to the marketplace. You can list on the marketplace if you have some stuff that you want to do. And then also the idea here is you can attach stuff like this. So if you haven't got the couple that are on there, the one from Braden, I have a couple up there, go ahead and grab them, because you get all these resources along with the actual bot ID to copy there. And you have this nice branded bot marketplace team at botmarketplace.io stuff there. And if you want to list something, it's as easy as create a listing, go through all this stuff here, use it as a lead magnet. Who cares? Those who have businesses around this, you partners, those who want to be partners, those whatever, right? You're free to list here however you like. You can even, in your posting, right, you can format it very nice, and you can kind of see mine here. There's a comment section too for stuff if you want to, talk about some stuff or an experience on something. And then you can use this as a lead magnet, include attachments to a school group or something like that afterwards. So really, really fun place. I figured this would be a good starting point for things like the partner program, kind of getting a similar infrastructure. And then the help docs, if you haven't checked these out, these are very fun too. So you can come in here and see how to use custom tools, right? You can see calendar debugging, right? And you can let us know if it was helpful or not helpful, right? And you can see the views associated with it, just so we know we're hitting the mark on a lot of these, and they're labeled by type. So general, bots, knowledge, active tags, whatever it may be. And then also beginner, advanced, intermediate, depending on what it is. And so things like importing numbers, the whole process is in here. It's all gray labeled, white labeled. And then the idea would be users and resellers, whoever can support, they can submit their own support documents if they want. And then we can say voice AI best practices by XYZ, right? As long as it's gray label, white label. So there's all of your updates. Very, very fun, very exciting. Go play with it. Use Grok use Claude if you want to. Again, I'm labeling it as beta, so at your own risk. If you say, oh, it's not booking, then I'll just tell you to go to OpenAI. That's about as far as I'm going to take support for that right now, just because it's a little different cadence in the way it prompts. But very, very fun stuff coming. And again, voice is going on tonight, tomorrow, along with just some other stuff. So hopefully that's helpful. Hopefully that's exciting. And then I'll continue to monitor, because the one thing I just want to check on is those context actions going through tend to be where a lot of volume comes throughout the day. I'm going to leave it up today and see if we go down. Most of the stuff is very optimized, and it's on dedicated GCP now, so I don't think so. But I just want to kind of test the theory with it today. So have fun, and you'll see some goodies coming, and you'll notice some goodies in there.